Yo, what's up guys? IModernArts here. Today we'll be going over a pretty awesome tutorial, and it's how to make a custom 3D logo in Cinema 4D without using Illustrator. And I haven't made a tutorial in a while, and I recently watched Don's video on how he became a partner, and I want to try to follow his footsteps, and that's why I'm going to be trying to make for you guys some more tutorials. So I'd appreciate if you would like the tutorials and comment, because people see you commented or liked, I'll hopefully give you more views, and just rate it and favorite it, do whatever, because I want to eventually become a partner, and the sooner the better. So anyway, what I'm pretty much going to be covering is how to make like a 3D logo in Cinema 4D using some text and pretty much altering the text, and just some basic tips that you might not have known. Yeah. And also how to animate it a little bit. So let's open up Cinema 4D. As you can see, I have another project open. So open up Cinema 4D. And I like to start off by doing some render settings. I'm going to use my preset, but I'll read off what I have in my preset so you guys can just copy it. Hopefully you guys have a preset on render settings. So for output, you want 1280 by 720, and you want all frames for frame range. You want to save it probably as a QuickTime movie, and choose a good place to save it. Anti-aliasing, this makes it take a little while longer. You can choose best, and you can choose min level 2x2 and make the threshold somewhere from 5 to 10. I did 8. And you're going to want to go to effect and click ambient occlusion, and also affect global illumination. Settings for those don't matter that much, but make sure you have your global illumination settings for the air, dense, catchy. Make those first two boxes on low. I've gone over this a million times in my videos, but I just want to help you guys out with that. I'm just going to delete the motion blur because I'm not going to use it on this one. So let's go ahead, and once you have some good settings, you might want to go ahead and pause the video and go back just so you can copy the settings, or watch our video on HD render settings in Cinema 4D. It's one of our old tutorials, so it doesn't have as many views, so whatever. Anyway, once you guys got some good render settings, you're going to want to make the timeline 240 frames, which is 8 seconds, which is a good length. And every second is 30 frames, so if you want to make it a second shorter, 210, a second longer, 270, do the math. Anyway, let's just start working on it so you guys can actually learn something. It's going to add in a text object. Going to align it in the middle. So you might be thinking, what, we're just typing the letters of your logo and that's going to be it? Well, not quite. So I'm going to type the letters MA. If you're doing a logo, I'd recommend it's a 1-letter, 2-letter, or 3-letter logo. If not, it's not going to work so well. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is choosing a font that's pretty much going to be a guideline or an outline, and then pretty much re-outlining it and kind of altering some of the lengths and widths of it just to get it to work better. So I'm just going to play around with a couple fonts. That looks horrible. Let's see what I got. So I'd recommend you guys do the same thing. Just play around with some different fonts that you have. And it's not going to actually look like this. We're just using this pretty much as a guideline, as I've said. And then you can change it. So don't go for something that's like really basic and generic. You might want to make something that's a bit interesting and like unique. Has some interesting angles. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. This font is Snub Fighter. I think it looks pretty good. So before we start adding some materials and doing all that stuff, let's actually get the actual basic logo outline. So once you've chosen a good font with your letters, first what I'd like to do is make the horizontal spacing less. I like doing this so the letters either connect or almost connect. And I give a lot of horizontal spacing so it looks something like this. That looks pretty cool. So that's the first thing you can play around with, is horizontal spacing. Once you have that basic idea, you can go into the 4 views and choose the front view. Then you're going to go over here to spline thing that looks like kind of a blue S almost. Click on the bezier. And pretty much what you can do, if you like it the way it is, you can just skip this step. But say you want to alter it a little bit, you're just going to re-go over it. Let's say I want to make this side kind of angled. Pretty much this is just connecting the dots. I want to make this not as long, pretty much. Just connecting the dots and re-outlining it. And I already have a tutorial on how to use this bezier, so I'm not going to get too in-depth of it, but it's pretty simple. You just click a dot, and if you don't like where something ends up, you can always drag it down to a place. I'm actually starting to like this. Might want to actually consider using this. And let's go here. Let's make this maybe match the other one. So we'll go down to there. So just take your time, outline the letters. Have this go like this, and hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys. Hopefully you know what I'm doing, what I'm talking about. Just pretty much using the text as like a basic outline, and then changing it with the spline tool. And I'll show you how to make that spline 3D. So I hope you guys aren't too confused. Uncheck that real quick. Just thinking in my head right now, guys. Don't mind me. But yeah, just take your time, outline it, get it so it's something nice. And I don't really know how it's going to look that much until it's 3D, so if you think something looks bad, don't give up, don't let down your hopes. I don't even know how good this is going to look, but I'm just experimenting, trying to make a cool logo. And now I got back to the first dot. So pause the video right now if you haven't made your 2D logo with the spline yet. And if you have, I'll go on to the next step. So you're going to go back into the 4 views and click on the top right view. And then the text that you were using as an outline, you're probably going to want to uncheck it, because you don't want to delete it because you might want to use it as an outline in the future, but you just got to uncheck it. So here I have my outline of the text. I think that looks pretty cool, but what I'm going to do right now, guys, real quick, is now that I'm looking at it without the text object there, I'm going to want to extend this like line in the A, so I'll show you guys how to do that. If you want to adjust something but you don't want to just edit undo it, go into the spline and you can just click on one of these dots and drag it out to wherever you want, and click on the other one. Oops, that just made a curve by accident. Click on this one. Let's see. That's better. Yeah, using the blue tool. Let's put it like that. That looks cool. And then I just fix my A, so we're ready to move on. That's pretty cool. Pretty nice logo. Just started with the font. If you uncheck this and then check this one off, you started with just something like that, and it turns into something like that. So you can get a lot of good inspiration from just looking at fonts. So go to your extrude NURBS tool and drag the spline into your extrude NURBS. So you get something like this. And click on your extrude NURBS, and you're gonna go to the you're gonna go to object, and the movement is pretty much just like the depth, how thick it is, no homo. And then go to caps. This is optional, but I like adding a start fillet cap and an end fillet cap. As you can see, or hopefully you guys noticed, the caps are way too big. I see this on a lot of crappy intros that they just don't bother changing the caps, and it looks kind of shitty. personally.